Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm so happy you're here. I'm Debbie. If this is our first time meeting, thanks for being here. Typically on Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern, I go live for a few minutes to share some need to know, dying to know information about weddings, romance, or travel, or a combination of three. Um, if you are joining me live, thank you. If you're watching the replay, thank you. I would love to let the world know you're here. So if you're joining me on Facebook, which is where I'm streaming live to today, facebook.com/hitchedaway, please let me know in the comments your name and where you're joining from. Also, we should be streaming live on YouTube at youtube.com/hitchedaway. Just enter your name and tell me where you're listening from. And if you're on Instagram, good to see you too. Please post your comments, and then I'll have to do some kind of finagling to get it to show up on the screen. But wherever you are, thank you for being here. And if you're watching live on the Hitched Away live page, thank you for joining me. Hi, Mom. All right. So today, typically, I do this Ask Me Anything question series, AMA. I have to break it down because I don't always know what AMA. When I first I was like, AMA, what's that? Sounds is that like mixed martial art? Anyway, so ask me anything. But I wanted to go over a topic that I've seen bouncing around. And a lot of times when these topics come up, I'm like, let me make sure I got the inside track on this. So have you ever heard of a baby moon? Do you know what that is? Have you ever, well, first, have you ever heard of it? And if you've heard of it, do you know what it was or is? Curious to know. But if you don't know, I'm going to go over some pointers with you today to break all of that down. But I'm just curious to know if you know what a baby moon is. Just enter that in the comments here. And right out the gate, great to see you. Janice is here, and Janice is joining us from Hyattsville. Thank you for being here, Janice. And for those of you who aren't familiar, Hyattsville is a suburb in Maryland, right outside of Washington, D.C. So thanks for being here. I will add, today is a big deal for our football fans, American football. Let me break it down because I know we have some UK listeners. So got a big game coming up. I don't think I'm in any jeopardy of overstepping my time with that, but just grateful that you are here. So yeah, so a baby moon. Do you know what this is? Do you know what a baby moon is? And I'm looking at my notes here, but because I wanted to make sure I got everything that I could explain to break it down to you. So really, a baby moon is just a relaxing trip for a couple. And it's designed so that they can unwind, get to know, well, I shouldn't say get to know each other because they're having a baby. I hope they know each other, right? But just it's sort of like their last hurrah, especially if this is their first baby. And that's what the baby moon is. It's a time for them to relax, spend time with one another before baby arrives. Now, a lot of celebrities have made this front and center. It's relatively new. The phrase, believe it or not, was coined, I think, back in the 90s by a British gentleman, and then it somehow just took off. But if you've seen those photos with the celebrities and the baby bump, that's what's going on. It's typically, well, not, I mean, just not the baby bump. It's an opportunity for the couple to unwind, right? But it's also an opportunity to get some great photos. And I remember years ago when you were pregnant, you'd have these tent-like dresses to cover the bump, right? And then somehow we transitioned into exposing the bump. So you see a lot of that, locally, whether folks are local or whether they're traveling. But this is the baby moon is a chance to, again, get to know one another, but also get these great photos. So not just with the baby bump, but in the tropical destination, if that's what you choose to do. So that's the main way a baby moon when it's described. But do you know there's also a slight variation to that? There are some couples who will go on their trip and call it a baby moon, but they're going, how can I say this tactfully? They're going on the trip in an effort to conceive the baby. And that is also known as a baby moon, which actually could be a honeymoon if the way you think about it. But a baby moon isn't always about after the baby's here. For some, it's a chance to unwind and also plan it around a time to hopefully conceive the baby. So there's that. Then you've also got another variation where couples are going on baby moons right after the baby is born. Not immediately, but shortly thereafter. And it's one or two ways even beyond that. The first is depending on the destination, they'll take the baby, and it's baby, mom and dad, or mom and mom, or dad and dad getting to connect, because baby moons don't just have to be babies that are biological to the couple. If they're adopted, or there's some support um, surrogate arrangement, then that's also a possibility for a baby moon. So you can go with the baby, but then there's also another variation where the couple are going on for a break after the baby, and they're leaving the infant with someone trusted. My guess is it's probably going to be grandma or someone like that. But again, a chance to connect. And remember how I said like the last hurrah before baby arrives? Well, this is sort of like baby's here, but this is our last chance to spend some time together before we kind of get into the depths of parenting. So a lot of different options there for a baby moon. So you've got before baby, after baby, and while baby's visibly on its way. I wanted to share a few people. So do you know there are quite a few celebs? Let's see if we can get this here. Yeah. We've got Serena. I think it's Serena, right? Serena did the went on a baby moon with her husband. I've forgotten his name. Shameful. We've also seen the royals do this. Meghan and Harry did this for the first baby. I think it's Alfie's his name, right? I might be botching that. Not Lilibet, but before the first baby, they did the baby moon thing. And then also his brother. Yeah. William and Kate also did the baby moon. They went to the island of Mustique. And if you're not familiar with Mustique, I know my British folks in the house will know, this is the island, I think, that was a private island for, she's gone now, Princess Margaret. So I believe Prince William and Kate, and it says right here, they went to the Caribbean to stay in a luxury 5-bedroom mansion in the private island of Mustique. So we've got quite a few different celebs that do this. I'm not really on my A game. Lauren Conrad also says, what did she do? She did a baby moon. Let's see. What did you say here where she went? Yeah. And then we've got, I know whatchamacallit, The Situation did that too. I'm looking for him here. Oh, Kelly Osbourne, who looks so different now from the Osbournes, did the baby moon too with her baby boy, Sydney. I don't know if it says where it is because I'm not doing a great job. Kiki Palmer did this again with so a lot of celebs are doing the baby moon thing. I keep saying the baby moon thing, are having a baby moon. Let's just say it that way, right? And it's become more popular with social media. It's kind of like the Me Too. I want to do this too. So quite a few celebs are doing. Oh, there's a Situation. He didn't go to Jersey Shore, but where did they go? Did it say? Where do they go? Does it say? I gotta go back and read. Anyway, so we've got, it's not just about celebs, but that's give you some inspiration of what you can do, and where you what folks are doing for their baby moon. Janice is responding saying, yeah, Archie is the name. I didn't want to botch it for the name for that's Harry's baby, Harry and Meghan's baby. Okay, so what are you doing on a baby moon? Well, really the concept is that it's a chance to relax and to recharge. And depending on where you're going and how long you're staying determines what you're going to do. I'm always going to come back to the Caribbean. Here in the North America, going to the Caribbean is a very popular destination for folks because it's pretty easy to get to. And there are a wide variety of options. You can do all inclusive, you can do boutique, you can be off the beaten path, you can be where all the action is, but mainly for a baby moon, for someone who's, if the mom is already, if she's pregnant, if the woman's pregnant, it you don't want it to be, there needs to be a balance, and it's usually a chance to relax and recharge. So you've got massage, you've got dining, and really it involves some planning to make sure that there's some kind of order, or it could just be days of just laying on the beach or relaxing and doing a lot of nothing. But typically, if someone's going on the baby moon, it's to relax and recharge, and of course, to secure, if you can, a professional photographer to get some really great shots, to get some great images. And that's something you want to arrange before you get there, so that A, the person, you can secure the date and the time, and B, this person can pick out some of the different locations that are typically best for those images. But that's really what's going on in the baby moon. Now, if the baby moon is to conceive the baby, well, then we know what's going on the baby moon, right? But it's about the couple, and just coming up with, just doing, think of it like a honeymoon, but the baby's on its way, right? So a lot of those romantic, the things you want to do together, because day-to-day life can, you're seeing your partner, your husband, your wife, your spouse, and but maybe the communication is lacking, especially if this isn't the first baby and there's a lot going on. But even if it is, you've got busy schedules, because many people work up until the last moment before the baby comes. So planning the baby moon makes, planning activities during the baby moon makes sense. Now, you don't need the baby moon to be scheduled day to day to day to day to day. There needs to be some downtime. There've got to be some moments where it's just the two of you figuring it out, and maybe not planning anything. Again, it's a time for the two of you to really just get together and spend much needed time. So where can we go? Where can we go for our baby moon? Again, here in North America, the Caribbean is popular. A lot of the all-inclusive resorts do a really extensive job of trying to package, attract these clients who are expecting a baby. One of my favorites, you know who they are, is Sandals. So let me just show you what Sandals has going on, just to give you an idea. Okay, so you can see here, Sandals has a baby moon package, and it's designed and it says specifically for expecting couples. And what's included here is pampering and comfort. There's in-room sparkling cider, because we don't want wine for mom, and chocolate-covered strawberries, culinary wellness, meal planning, cravings menu, which is great because we all know that's a part of, well, I don't know if we all know, but many times cravings are part of being pregnant. Breakfast in bed any morning of your choice. This is great. And then you've got some memorable experiences. So they've got the private candlelight dinner, the all-important baby bump photo shoot. And this is great, a prenatal massage. And they've got to put an asterisk there because it has to be safe for pregnant individuals past their first trimester, because whether or not you know it, massage can induce labor, depending on what kind of massage it is. So this is something that's offered by Sandals, and they're not the only gig in town, but I just wanted to show you what's possible. If you have a particular place in mind and they're not offering the baby moon, you can inquire. A lot of times you can tweak the honeymoon package because it's really, really kind of similar, right? So you've got the Caribbean, and of course Mexico comes along with that. I always put Mexico second because everywhere else I see Mexico first. So I like to put Caribbean and Mexico. All right. What about a city escape? A city escape can work for your baby moon. Depending on where you are, that could be like here in the US, that could be, we're here on the East Coast, maybe you go to Savannah. Maybe you go up to Connecticut. You pick where you want to go, but it can be a destination that's national, but just going to a city. It doesn't always have to be this resort tropical situation. If you're in the UK, maybe it's a weekend in Paris. How about that for your baby moon? Again, just think honeymoon and you want to tweak that. So a city escape works really well for a baby moon. And then you've got wellness retreats. I thought of this. This makes sense. So a wellness retreat doesn't necessarily need to be too far away, but it could be. But finding one and using that as the baseline for your baby moon can work out really well. Again, you want to contact them and let them know. And not again, I didn't say that, but you want to let them know ahead of time what you're trying to do. The packages may exist, but baby moons are relatively a newish thing. Not front and center, and people may have heard of them, but don't really know what it was. I know when I brought this up to a few people, they were like, "Baby moon? Is this a honeymoon for babies?" No, not that. But there are different ways that you can do this. But a wellness retreat can do this. This can be maybe just an overnight stay. It doesn't need to be a full, 3 or 4 days. An overnight stay at a wellness retreat works really well. Now, I will say this question comes up a lot with regard to being pregnant and traveling, especially flying. So usually what's the best way, the best timing for a baby moon for an expectant mom is during her second trimester. Any ideas why? Before I give it away, why do you think the second trimester, I think, is the best time for a baby moon for an expectant mom? Let me know your thoughts there. I will say this, for cruise, typically most cruise lines will not entertain a baby moon. This is not something they really want. They're not inviting you on board as an expectant mom, especially for your baby moon. It's just maybe if it's early enough and they don't know, that's different. But to contact a cruise line and say you're planning a baby moon, don't expect open arms with regard to that. It just doesn't work that way for cruise lines. Now, for airlines, I know you may have heard with regard to what their guidelines are for expectant moms, but that's part of the reason. But airlines for the most part will allow you to fly with some caveats. Now, I just asked the question, why do you think that the second trimester is the better time for baby moons? And Janice is right on target. She said no morning sickness. Yeah, absolutely. Most morning sickness that occurs during a pregnancy happens during the first trimester. So to try to plan something that's a getaway, it's almost like torture, because when you're feeling morning sickness, you just don't want to be anywhere other than close to home, right? Close to your familiar surroundings. So that knocks out the first trimester. The third trimester, it's just you're getting bigger, and it's just physically you're going to be what's just going to be way more uncomfortable to maneuver. And also that's when the restrictions start coming in for some places, for some airlines, especially if you want to travel overseas. So remember I mentioned Caribbean and Mexico. If you plan that, if you're flying on a U.S. airline in your second trimester, for pretty much, I think I'm safe to say that there are no restrictions. However, it makes sense for you to have a letter from your OBGYN that gives you the all clear to travel and to fly. And here's why. If you're traveling and you're at the destination and something changes, there's a flight change or there's some sort of disruption, and you need to go on an airline, or you need to change your route for whatever reason, that other airline or that other mode of transportation may have different guidelines than what we have here in the US. And in that situation, you are going to need something that says it's okay for you to travel. So it's wait a second. I'm sorry. Did I give the credit to someone else? It was Court that said no morning sickness. Hi, Court. Just Court. I'm sorry. I said Janice. I did that last time. I'm sorry. Just Court. Thank you for joining me. Yes, no morning sickness for the first trimester travel. But getting back to if you are traveling during your second trimester, no, baby moon or whatever, you want to have that note, that official letter that gives you the all clear in the off chance that you need to travel on some mode of transportation that is not US. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're going to an island and you decide you want to do a ferry ride. That ferry is not a US based provider. They may say, well, I don't know. We don't know if you can we need the okay. And without that form, without that letter, without those guidelines, that's not happening. So it seems far-fetched, but stranger things have happened. But it comes down to the second trimester is the best time if you're planning for a baby moon. Again, cruise lines, not happening. Not happening for the most part. And, you know, whether you know it or not, most cruise lines do not have, don't already, you know, Royal Caribbean, they don't have, they don't fly the US flag. They're actually based in, I've forgotten the term, but they're, what's the word? Not based, but they're headquartered out of the US. But I don't know if that's part of the reason why. But for the most part, baby moon and cruise ships, not a good combination. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? I think I think there was somebody in your circle that did the baby moon, and a lot of it's that photo op. And because a lot of folks want to show the baby bump, bump in an exciting destination or different destination just sort of adds to the charm there. But that's really what's going on. When you see the word baby moon, I know you will now know what that entails. If you are stuck with ideas or considering, please get in touch. I'd love to help you just brainstorm some ideas. But really, it's about a chance to recharge and to get to connect with one another before the baby arrives. Don't underestimate the power of that. And maybe you don't want to, you know, maybe taking baby bump pictures is not really the driving force behind that, but it's really about getting together. Again, I keep using the term the last hurrah before the baby arrives. Not completely out of the, it's not that far-fetched, but still relatively new. Serena's here. Great to see you, Serena. Thank you for joining. And Serena's asking, is that what we call the mini moon? Good question. The mini moon typically is a shortened version, an abridged version of a honeymoon. So honeymoons typically are 4+ days where someone's going for the honeymoon, depending on where the destination and, you know, what timing allows. The mini moon is typically something much shorter. So I'll give an example. I'll use here my home base in the Washington, D.C. area. Maybe we want my husband and I, my husband and I say, you know, we're going to, I don't know, the place I want to go to is Curacao for our honeymoon, but it doesn't work out for whatever reason. Then we may decide we're just going to do a weekend trip to, I don't know, Niagara Falls, or we'll go to the Shenandoah Valley or mountains, but we just want to go someplace close. So mini moon is just that, shortened and closer, usually because of the time constraints. That's usually what a mini moon means. It can happen right after the wedding, or it can be delayed, but mini usually means shortened. Baby moon is typically, there's something to do with this baby. Either we're having the baby moon because the baby's on its way, or we want to conceive baby, or baby's here and we just want to get away. And that kind of sounds like it might be a mini moon, but a bit of semantics there. But I hope that answers your question as to what a mini moon is versus a baby moon. So tell me, what are your thoughts? What do you think? What are you thinking about a baby moon? If you were to plan a baby moon, either for you or someone very close to you, where would you want to send them? What would you suggest? Tell me what you would suggest. What locations, what destination comes to mind that would be good for a baby moon? Remember, we're thinking relaxation, not a whole lot of party vibe going on, but maybe some planned activities. What comes to mind for you, depending on where you are? I'd love to know. Just post it in the comments. I'm curious to find out. I'll jump back to Sandals for a moment. And so Sandals has resorts throughout the Caribbean. And one of the questions on the site is, what are the best Sandals resorts for a baby moon? And they list a few of them. They say Sandals Royal Bahamian, Sandals Grand Antigua, Sandals Regency La Toc, which is in St. Lucia, and Sandals Negril. And I know three of them firsthand are much more quiet, and a lot more reserved. So that's kind of the vibe that makes sense for a baby moon. To go to Party Central, maybe not for this trip. That might work for a honeymoon or even a mini moon if that's what you choose, but just kind of low key, but still beautiful, and a chance to really indulge and focus on one another. But I'm curious, let me know what destinations would be a go-to for you. Maybe for you if you were having a baby or someone close to you. Caribbean is my go-to, I think. I would consider somewhere in Florida, although Florida can be crazy hot. I don't know if that would impact mom to be if I'm just being too stereotypical. I think if I were home in the UK, Paris comes to mind. I would want to do that. And maybe somewhere in the Cotswolds. That's what I'm thinking. Or maybe even the seaside. I'm not necessarily not too far. I mean, sometimes we take for granted our own areas. We cannot see that. It's like being in town and living here. And then when guests come, you take them here, you take them there. And that's when we discover all that our area has to offer. But that's what I wanted to share with you. Tell me if you have any questions, let me know. But baby moons are becoming front and center, and we're seeing more and more of them. Anything that posts that's trending on social media, and you've got celebrities being a part of it. You've got this kind of me too. I want to be on it. I want this too. I want this idea. I want to do this. Again, second trimester is the time frame to do that, so you can plan it in the first trimester for the second. Or if you're going somewhere close, then you can manage to get that done in a matter of in a couple of weeks. But to get the best deal, I would say, or maybe hand that off to someone. Or if you know someone has said that they're having a baby, maybe consider that as a gift or a starting point. Maybe just give them the idea of it. Again, it doesn't have to be way out. It doesn't require you having to get on a plane. It doesn't require you having to have a passport if you think a little strategically. Again, a wellness retreat, that works. Search for that locally. And if you can find someplace, you can do that and maybe arrange for a stay at a local hotel that maybe is a little more luxurious. Why not? That sounds like a great plan. And if, cost is a factor, look for midweek. There are lots of ways that you can do this. And if the bump photos are a big deal, then you just want to secure the services of a photographer. Don't leave that to the end. And maybe you build it around the photo shoot. So how about that? You do the photo shoot, followed by maybe massage at the wellness retreat and an overnight stay. Ta-da, baby moon. It can be as simple as that. All right. That's all I have for you this week. I'm really, really charged that you are here, whether you're watching live or watching the replay. Please just post in the comments either on YouTube or Facebook. Let me know, DM me what questions you have or what ideas come to mind. I'd love to help you along that path. All right. Until next week, I hope to see you. I wish you the best for the upcoming week. Be careful, be safe here in the DC area. Like I said, we got the big game today, and I think we've got snow coming, but it is what it is. Again, my name is Debbie. Please let me know if I can help you in any way with regard to your wedding, romance, travel, or just travel in general. Take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.